Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. Alright guys, today's movie, Wild Rose. The movie follows a young Irish woman who just recently got out of prison and has dreams of becoming a country singer in America and has made it her sole priority to earn enough money to take her to Nashville, Tennessee. The film is directed by Tom Harper, whose work I'm not too familiar with, but has done a puzzling sequel to The Woman in Black. Was the first movie so good that it needed a sequel? Say what you want, I guess, but he's slated for another film called Aeronauts, and that'll be released sometime early November. The film stars Jessie Buckley, who previously starred in the movie Beast, and she will be featured in the upcoming films Judy, which is set for release in September, and next year's The Voyage of Dr. Dolittle. And in support, we have the ever-amazing Julie Walters, who you'll recognize from the Mamma Mia movies, as well as last year's Mary Poppins Returns. So right off the bat, this movie is wonderful. It's very well written, has great characters, great acting, and I am so happy that I got to see it before it left theaters. Now, I know a lot of you are probably not familiar with Jessie Buckley. Not that I'm shocked, but I promise you, she is going to be making waves in the future. Not only is she a talented actress, but she has a ridiculously beautiful voice. In every scene that she's in, she is giving it 110%. Her performance is loaded with charm and intensity. So if you look around at those reviews and you see that they're constantly talking about how good she is, it's well deserved. Her character is Rose Lynn, and as previously mentioned, she just got released from prison. What I didn't mention is that she's actually a single mom of 2 kids. Her oldest daughter, Winona, and her youngest son, Lyle. Rose Lynn is not a great mom. Quite literally, the first thing that she does when she gets out of prison is to find her fuck buddy and then have sex with him in a public park. Zero shame. It's only once she's satisfied, that's when she goes to visit her kids. And go figure, it's about as awkward as you can get. Sure, Lyle's happy to see her, but in that way that you're happy to see family friends. Because as soon as he has to live with her, he does not want to live with her. As for Winona, that girl doesn't even speak for half the movie. Regarding Rose Lynn's relationship to her kids, what really stood out for me was that she never tries to force them to love her. You know, in other films, parents who have been away from their kids for too long usually snap at some point, sometimes even early on, by telling them, hey, I'm your parent, come give me a hug, come give me a kiss. Rose Lynn doesn't do that. She understands that she's been away for a while, and the kids are basically used to not having her around. She does pretty much what I wish I could see more often in movies like this. Gives them space, respects that they're muddling through feelings that they're not used to. To be perfectly honest, to see that reaction is really refreshing. But clearly, she's not a monster. She loves her kids. She's never happy passing them off to her mom. But one has to keep in mind she's still young. She was young when she gave birth to these kids. She was younger than 18, if I remember the line of dialogue correctly. And she knows that she has talent. She wants to roll with that. So as you can see, that's the message of the movie. Deciding what's more important, family or following your dreams. You can also argue that it's about taking responsibility for your actions. So as you can probably guess, the writing is absolutely phenomenal. It would be so easy to make Rose Lynn a completely unlikable character, and certainly while her actions are deplorable from time to time, it never crosses a line where we stop rooting for her. We understand where she's coming from, we understand what she wants to do, we don't agree with her actions, but we sympathize. One thing that I really appreciate is how this movie plays with expectations. It looks like the story's going to have this moment where Rose Lynn is going to have an affair with Susanna's husband, and that's what's gonna fuck everything up for Rosalind later. But they don't go that direction. But alright, we get it. Great actress, great character, fantastic. That's the reason why the movie is great. But does the movie have any negatives? Yeah, a few. One of the first problems that I had was the relationship between Rosalind and her boss, Susanna. Early on in the story, Rosalind is looking for work, and she finds it as a housekeeper for a wealthy family. Now, at first, things are pretty standard. You know, she's ogling over the house, she's drinking their alcohol, all that good stuff. But later on, that's when the problems start. Susanna and her kids, by this point in the story, are fans of her singing. Brazenly, out of the blue, Rosalind just goes up to Susanna and asks for money to fly her to Nashville so she can launch her music career. There is nothing in their relationship that suggests that Susanna would be open to that. But what's strange is that the next scene, Susanna sits Rosalind down to record her singing a song to be passed around, radio stations and just people who will be able to help her out with her career. I mean, not that I don't buy that Susanna's a nice person. She absolutely is. But it's just like, who would get this involved with someone's personal life? I just would have preferred if their relationship was built up a little bit more. Just like an extra 10, 15 minutes of them bonding, talking about something. And speaking of bonding and talking about something, this segues into my second problem. Upon Rosalind's initial employment, she completely leaves out that she was once a convict. She also leaves out that she has no kids. I do not understand this. I mean, I understand the prison part. Anybody would lie about that. But I don't understand the kids part. They're both mothers. One would think that this is actually grounds for relating to each other. And this would have been the perfect way to have them bond as friends. But because that bonding never happens, the help that Susanna ultimately gives doesn't feel justified. It just comes across that Susanna's just too nice. And there's no real sense of time, like these two have been, employer-employee for very long. I would still assume, 1 week. That is not enough to make two people just best friends automatically. There's also a weird moment where Rosalind is cleaning the house, but her imagination starts going wild and she starts seeing band members playing a song that she's listening to. I mean, I don't have a problem with it in of itself, but the fact that it just comes out of nowhere and is the only scene of its kind, if Rosalind had a wild imagination throughout the entire movie, she's constantly envisioning herself as a famous singer with a whole band and everything, I think I would be a lot more tolerant of this. But it's just a weird scene that is there for almost no reason other than to show that she has a wild imagination. And it didn't work for me in the long run. It's pointless and should have just been left out. But honestly, I don't think it matters too much because the rest of the film is so damn good. It's heartfelt, it's sweet, it's tough, and it's funny, it's emotional. So at the end of the day, I just think it's a great film, but flawed. So my honest rating for Wild Rose is a strong 4 out of 5. I've got some upcoming reviews. They include The Art of Self-Defense, The Lion King live-action remake, Sword of Trust, and Annabelle Comes Home. So keep an eye out for those reviews. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Have a great one. Hope to see you soon.